When you're going through trials in your life, you gotta speak resilience in your life.
Hey, what's up, my wonderful people? It's your girl, Tasima, also known as Speak Resilience in the building. Hey, we are here today to talk to the amazing, wonderful, and talented Miss Jaslynn Gholson. Thank you
Hi,
so much, Jaslynn, for being on the show. How are you?
thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So, you are a featured author on the 2022 Impact and Influence Authors Conference. How
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
feel about being a part of this conference? Is it blowing your mind or what? Girl,
It
tell.
is. It actually feels really good to be a part of. And I had actually tried to be a part of it last year and I ended up getting sick.
Oh,
So, I wanted to make sure that nothing got in the way of it, this year. And so to be here, it actually makes me feel really good and makes me feel, I just, I don't really know how to explain it. I'm just happy.
well, you know something? It sounds like you have a reason to be happy because you have authored two amazing poetry books, Silent Tears and The Angry Black Woman. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Tell us about this book movement. Talk to us about it. What made you write these books?
I used to write poetry when I was younger, and then I actually ended up having writer's block for about 3 years. And when I had writer's block, um, there was one night I couldn't sleep, and I just had these words in my head. And when I had the words in my head, I couldn't figure out what it was, but when I wrote it down, it was a poem. And usually it would take me like a couple weeks or so to write a poem. And I wrote this in about 30 minutes. And it just flowed out of me like nothing else. And I was like, gosh, I've never had anything happen to me like that before. And when I wrote it, it was this poem called My Story. And when I wrote it, even though it was my story, I felt like it wasn't intended for me. Like I felt like it was supposed to go to someone else, and I wasn't sure who it was supposed to go to, so I wanted it to get to whoever it was supposed to go to. So I actually posted it on Facebook, and when I posted it, it had a lot of great, energy and reaction to it, and I had never really opened up to too many people. So, I really surprised a lot of people. And everybody was like, you should write a book. And I was like, okay. So that's actually how the whole thing got started. And it has actually been pretty therapeutic for me to write. And not only has it been therapeutic for me and great for me, but it's been great for other people. And it's been therapeutic for other people to kind of connect and see things from a different perspective. And it's it's been pretty great. And Silent Tears, um, as well as an Angry Black Woman, I tackle a lot of different issues like mental, physical, verbal, as well as sexual abuse. And I tell my own experiences with it, um, basically to add awareness as well as let people know that they're not alone. Because for a long time, I really thought that I was alone in a lot of my pain. And it wasn't until I started to actually speak about it, I realized how many people had actually gone through the same things that I had gone through. And we were able to find almost like a healing in that power of connection.
Absolutely. So it's always wonderful. I host a poetry and open mic night, so I can completely identify with all things poetic. It was definitely a resource for me growing up, just to know that
Yeah.
I had this outlet for the arts. So what I love is that you're using your art to help impact people in a positive way, and you're using your art to help generate the healing for yourself, and you found a way to bring both of those things together to empower the world and to generate income for yourself at the same time. Powerful.
I actually didn't think of it like that.
Just saying, just saying. I have been a consultant for almost 30 years. So one thing I can see is when a vision is being cast. And that's exactly what's happening. And you're allowing your gifts to make room for you. That's such a powerful thing. Do you even realize what you've done? It's wonderful. So
Well, thank you.
yes, ma'am. So when you're working on your writing process, right? I
Yes.
think it's really a good thing for people to know maybe how you go about your writing experience, right? Because oftentimes when we're going through our own brokenness, we don't really know how to express it, or maybe we think there's some specific way we got to write it down and get it on paper in order for it to become this thing.
Right.
What's your process? If you can let us get a little sneak peek like this, I'm pulling my glasses down, I'm trying to get a little sneak peek into how you create this art and get it to the book format.
So, it's a lot of different things, especially with it being my own story. Like, it's not, my book's not like based on a fictional character. So it's basically like I take my experiences and I don't know, it flows in a poetry. I don't really know how to explain it, but I will say that I'm only 28, but for 23 years, I never opened up to anyone about anything that I had ever been through. It was something that I held on to, and it hindered me for a very long time. And I held on to my story like it was baggage, and it would just be so heavy on me, heavy on my spirit, heavy on my soul. And I just could not enjoy life because I just kept carrying around that baggage with me just everywhere. And that's part of the reason, that's why I called it Silent Tears, because these are the things that hurt me for so many years. And, it silenced me. So now it allows me the opportunity to have a voice and to be able to change things, not just for myself, but for other people. For example, with my poems, I was in a relationship with someone, and this was really one of the first people that I had ever really expressed myself to in that manner. And he told me that I was beautiful. And when he told me that I was beautiful, it made me uncomfortable. And I kind of looked away from him. And he said, why are you looking away from me? Like, I just called you beautiful. Like, why did that make you uncomfortable? And he said, who did this to you? And I didn't know how to answer the question because no one had ever really talked to me and really asked me how I felt about a lot of different things. So I didn't know how to respond to him. And he asked me again, and he said, was it him? And he was referring to a previous relationship that I had been in, and I still didn't know how to answer him. I just cried. And I still never answered his question until the next day. I wrote him a poem. And the poem was called Everyone But You. And it starts off as, who did this to you? By this, what do you mean? The way I cry at night, the pain you hear in my screams, who did this to you? You are beautiful, and I'm not just talking about the inside of you. The outside you don't see, so when I call you beautiful, you don't even look at me. So basically, I just took the experience and I just changed it into an art form. And that's how every poem is.
Yeah, Jaslynn, that's exactly what you did.
And that's how all of my poems are. They're all stories. They're all real stories that happen. And I turned it into poetry. The little the bird on the front cover, I was in an abusive relationship, and that night that I finally was, the night that I was going to be able to get away from him, well, got up the courage to get away from him, I didn't know how I was going to be able to do it by myself anymore. So that night I prayed and I said, Lord, if you could get me out of this situation, I will never look back. I will never, allow myself to be in a situation like this again. And basically, I fell asleep that night, and I was asleep for about 3 hours. My alarm would usually go off for work at 7:30. The plan was to get up for work and to go and call the police once I got to work. And at 7:27, a little black bird came and sang next to my window, and it woke me up. And I was finally able to get to work to be able to call the police. And I turned that into another poem, The Little Black Bird. And ever since then, that was always my miracle. So every time I see a black bird, it's been my miracle, and it reminds me of that night, because I felt really hopeless. And even when I gave up on myself and gave up on everything else that was going on, I knew that God did not give up on me, because he woke me up and I was able to get out of that situation, and I have not allowed myself to be in another situation like that since.
Wow. So what's so powerful about your story is you're not just sharing the story. It's also the way you share the story. Even the way you're describing it right now, I am just like sitting here like I'm watching my favorite TV program. It's fascinating. It really is. And that's a gift even in and of itself, is that you can articulate the vision. That makes me more excited to read the book. It's like, man, how articulate you are in how you speak about your work makes me want to read the work. I'm like, man, is there something there? Was she been through what I've been through? Let me see. I want to see how she's found a way to create this beautiful art form out of her pain.
Yeah, and that's the thing with it too. It helps people to connect with me, but at the same time, like, not everybody has been through the type of things that I've been through. So it allows people to see what it's like to be in a situation like that. Because say you have a family member that has been through something like that, and you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to talk to them. You don't understand what they're going through, but you want to be there. So, you could read the book and you could be like, oh, wow, I never would have thought of it like that. Because for me, there's a lot of different programs for, women that have been abused. And there's programs, there's hotlines, there's a lot of different resources out there for you to help you out of those situations. But when I was in my situation, I never thought to use anything like that, because in my mind, what I went through my entire life, all I kept saying was, oh, that'll never be me. That'll never happen to me. So I never paid attention to anything like that, because I thought that something like that could never happen to me until it happened. And
yep. I know that feeling.
Life will humble you.
Indeed,
Life will definitely humble you.
Yes.
So
I
it's
wanted
a
to
big
ask
learning
you,
experience.
I believe
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I believe it is a big learning experience. I was chiming in on what you just said, but what I wanted to say is we're rounding up the last maybe 30 seconds or so. Share
Okay.
with our viewers what you would like people to take away when they read your book, or either of your books for that matter.
Strength and love and positivity. Because through anything that I've been through or through anything that anyone has been through, there's still light at the end of the tunnel, and there's still love for you. You can still love yourself. There is still love coming to you. God loves you. You can still be a light in this world, and you don't have to take, what has happened to you and allow it to hinder you. You can use what has happened to you and allow it to help you and allow it to help other people. Allow it to not be what happened to you, but what happened for you.
Yes.
So it's all a process.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so grateful, Jaslynn, that you spent the time with me and sharing with our viewers what makes these two poetry books must-buy items. You must buy these two items. Okay.
Must buy.
You must buy. The author of Silent Tears and the Angry Black Woman, Miss Jaslynn Gholson. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you. I have to wait for you to respond. Woo.
Sorry.
Serious, girl, I'm on fire. But if you would like to purchase these books, you guys, you can get them by going to Amazon.com. You could go ahead and type in the search bar, Jaslynn Gholson, or you can type Silent Tears, or you can type The Angry Black Woman, the poetry book. You know how to search. You all better get your fingers to tapping and go and get these books. And you can also find Jaslynn at the 2022 Impact and Influence Authors Conference this weekend. Thank you so much once again for being on the show. I'm so grateful that you chose to share your insight and share your experience as an author with us at the Speak Resilience Show. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. Until next time, it's your girl Tasima J, also known as Speak Resilience. We're thanking Miss Jaslynn once again for being a wonderful human, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.
3 things. Firefly Poetry and Open Mic Night is every second Wednesday at Gillies Sports Bar in Dunwoody. Check out our IG profile at Speak Resilience for more info on how you can become a featured performer. Check out StacksB.com to hire your musical technician. StacksB Entertainment provides DJ services for corporate events, birthday parties, and much more. Make your contribution count with a donation to HUMS, Uplifting Hearts, Minds, and Souls, a nonprofit with a mission to help domestic violence victims in a major way. Don't forget to like or tweet or subscribe and support us, sister. Leave a message. Check out speakresilience.com. As always, it's been real. Thank you in advance to Creative Arts International, ACX Marketing, StacksB Entertainment, and all contributors who have helped to make this TV show possible. A special thanks to Jimbo for the beautiful intro and outro. Check him out on SoundCloud and all major social media platforms.
When you're going through trials in your life, you gotta speak resilience.